born in London today what is surely destined to become one of the great events in British sport.
Chupa of Ethiopia heading for victory. It's one of the greatest pieces of running that we've ever seen. Shoulders burning, fingertips pushing. The London Marathon belongs to Eliud Kipchoge.
The hand of friendship after 26 miles.
A sight to behold every single year.
Hello and welcome to highlights of the 2016 Virgin Money London Marathon. It is the 36th time this iconic event has weaved its way through London, and over 35,000 people were on the start line this morning. For one of them, a place in history awaits.
A race in which to take part really is more important than to win. And they're going to finish together. Beardsley of America ties with Siemens. Fastest time by a woman.
Ratcliffe storming on number 6.
I have been doing my exercises, weightlifting, salsa dancing, Zumba.
It's nice to have a challenge.
It's been hard, but it's been worth it.
There's the physical side of it, but it's really believing you can do it.
I'm running to make sure that kids have a voice.
This that's in my arms, my daughter.
You know that every step you're running is going to be helping young people.
To raise as much money as we can, that's it.
The best in the world we're here, but he is the champion. The biggest win of her career.
Just look at him go. This is really special. It is every single year. We'll be catching up with the masses a little later on in the programme. But first, let's go back to earlier in the day and the elite races. First to go with the wheelchair athletes. So let's join up with our commentary team of Steve Cram, Brendan Foster, women's marathon world record holder Paula Radcliffe, 6-time London Marathon winner Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson, and Mr. Rob Walker.
Here is the lineup for the men's race. Well, it is going to be so difficult for Dave Weir to make it a magnificent 7. Not impossible, but Josh George is the defending champion. Dave Weir wears 36. 6-time the Paralympic champion. But they will all be out to stop him making history here. And speaking of history makers, Tatiana McFadden going for 4 in a row here in London, although her winning streak was brought to an end by Wakako Toshida recently. And they're underway. This is without doubt one of the most eagerly anticipated wheelchair races we've had in the 36-year history of the Virgin London Marathon. Dave Weir has it all to do here. Finished 4th in Boston last week, although that was his first outing on that particular course, and they do say you need to push Boston 3, 4 or maybe even 5 times to give yourself a chance of winning. Meanwhile, here are the rest of the IPC Athletics World Cup event athletes. We have a mixture of visually impaired and we have arm amputees as well. Many of these athletes running with guides. They run in sync. It's the epitome of teamwork. It's a great feature of the London Marathon now that we have an opportunity for some of the leading Paralympic athletes to compete on the same course as the able-bodied athletes. They don't have too many chances to run in front of such huge crowds.
Ideal conditions really for marathon running, particularly for the elites. It's cool,
but there's not much breeze. The sun just trying to come through, around about 7-8 degrees, perfect. So it's the elite women. You can see there some of the British names will be trying to make their way into the Olympic team. More of that once they get going. So it's a big day for, of course, the international field, but a massive day for the British athletes as well. So the London Marathon, elite women underway in 2016, Olympic year. The great champions are here, and those who are wanting to make their own mark and try perhaps to guarantee Olympic selection as well as complete a great London Marathon on this pretty fine Sunday morning. Brendan?
This is a particularly good one, Steve, as you mentioned. This is Olympic year. The British athletes in that second group with a pacemaker are aiming for a race between them, and I would think the first three there would have every chance of being selected for the Olympic Games. At the front, we're looking at a race, a competitive race, and similarly the Ethiopian athletes, the Kenyan athletes also looking for Olympic selection. So we've got two races virtually here.
Well, Kota Hokanui has gone to the front of this fascinating men's wheelchair race. It was the big four for quite a while, and then they decided just to slow up, and you can tell, even if you're not an expert in wheelchair racing, just how steadily they're taking this section. And it's Kota Hokanui taking them through Cutty Sark. It's one of the early iconic landmarks of the London Marathon.
The British women then are already around about a minute or so behind the leaders. And it's not particularly warm today, obviously, but I think it is very good conditions for quick running, as long as the wind doesn't pick up in the later stages. We're expecting a little bit of a breeze to pick up, but nothing too bad. So Keitany, you can see they're now starting to force things a little bit. You can see the others, the group's a little bit more spread out now. The cadence has just picked up a little. Tababa, Tufa, Sumgong, Kiplagat, Mergia and Tadessa.
Meanwhile, the wheelchair racers are coming up to Tower Bridge. Once you've done Cutty Sark, Tower Bridge is the next major target. It is a magnificent sight, and you know when you get to Tower Bridge that the race is really about to begin. You've knocked off the first 12 and a half, and this is where the training begins to pay dividends. And Marcel Hug has gone to the front now, with Kurt Fearnley behind him and Dave Weir in third.
But Dave Weir's running a very smart and tactical race. He hasn't really gone to the front too much, and they're always watching to see where he is, so they're obviously fairly concerned about the sprint finish. The climb up and over Tower Bridge is a bit steeper than you think, and then the run off down the other side is very nice as well, so they're all looking in great position right now.
Just before the elite men and masses started, there was a time for reflection. 35 years ago, on the 29th of March 1981, the vision of two men came into being as 6,747 runners were accepted to take part in the first London Marathon. Chris Brasher, the race's co-founder and former Olympic steeplechase champion, died 13 years ago. And sadly this year, the London Marathon's second co-founder, John Disley, passed away in February, aged 87. His wife and children were special guests here today and started the earlier races. And before the men and masses began their marathon, respects were paid to John, a pioneer of mass participation in sport.
So there's some of the names going through for the British men as for the British women. A big day, Olympic selection at stake for them. Scott Overall and Callum Hawkins already have the qualifying time. Chris Thompson, good to see him back. And in a year when the millionth finisher will cross the line, it's apt that this most powerful and greatest of human races begins with a start which is out of this world.
It's a huge honour to be asked to be the official starter for the 2016 London Marathon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Lift-off for the London Marathon 2016. The elites on their way from the blue start, cheered by those in the grandstands, and I'm sure by everybody watching around the world and indeed in space. Tim Peake will be setting off on his own quest to complete this most traditional of distances. And in a weekend when we celebrate the 400th birthday of Shakespeare, perhaps his words are pretty apt. Now bid me run, and I will strive with things impossible. Well, let's have a closer look at exactly where they're heading. We're at the finish line, waiting patiently for them. At the 26 miles, which has become very familiar to a lot of them. For some, they've never been here before, making their debuts. People come from around the world. So as I've said, they all come together at about 3 miles through the quickest part of the course, and then heading towards Cutty Sark, where the big crowds will be gathered at around 6 miles. Always a popular place. Through Rotherhithe, through 8, 9, 10 miles, and then they'll be able to see Tower Bridge in the distance as they know halfway approaches. And across Tower Bridge, big crowds here, and then head out back towards Canary Wharf as they've managed to get through the halfway point. 15 miles and through one or two of the twisty-turny parts of the course, and then they start the long run for home. Back towards the Tower, and then along the embankment into the last 2 or 3 miles. Some of the great sights of London ahead of them. You can see Big Ben from a long way down that embankment, and then to Buckingham Palace and into the Mall here, just passing in front of us, and the 250 metres or so to the finish line.
Meanwhile, making her way round the course steadily, hoping to hone in on a 4th consecutive title, Tatiana McFadden, closely followed by Manuela Schär, so a great race developing. Well, while her race is going very well indeed, disappointment for the double Paralympic silver medalist Shelley Woods, having to bring her race to a premature end around about Tower Bridge. That is a sad end to the aspirations of Shelley Woods for a 3rd London title, and you never know when a puncture and a flat tyre is going to cause you problems.
The elite women in the sunshine. Pace has been up and down, very fast through miles 4, 5, 6, 7, that sort of period. Then it's slowed down. It's now settled into a sort of steadier pace, and you can see the athletes looking around. Sumgong just having a check, seeing who's in that group. Katani, as ever, been pretty much leading things. Nothing much has changed there over the last 3 or 4 miles. Look, for a little while, though, Katani really meant business today. For whatever reason, she's decided to back off.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit intrigued as to what that reason might have been. She looked as though she was running really well, really full of running early on, pushed that pace and then settled right back, and obviously nothing too serious. Maybe she just decided that, okay, today was a day where she doesn't really want to run fast. She wants to concentrate just on winning the race.
So from a pack of leading elite women to our lone leader in the wheelchair race, Tatiana McFadden, going for 4 in a row. Remember, every single year she's won this title, she's broken her own course record. Tatiana McFadden is looking good for London Marathon title number 4. The American has this race under control at the moment.
Well, things really warming up in terms of the British women's race as well for these Olympic spots, but it's warming up, but they're slowing down a little bit. They've let the pacemaker go. These 5 women locked together, Susan Partridge with Ali Dixon and Sonia Samuels, Freya Ross and Charlotte Purdue, all still together, and this already has become a tactical race.
So important to be in the winning position or the first 2 positions. You don't want to risk too much early on. You don't want to risk going out a little bit hard and see whether you can hang on. You want to make sure and conserve your effort, and these women now are really looking at each other, and it is going to be a huge test of nerve.
They are gearing up for a huge charge at the finish line. The big 3 are going for it here. They've all won it before, but who's going to take the title in 2016? Weir's trying to come wide on the outside, but Marcel Hug is holding it at the moment. Marcel Hug looks as though he's in the driving seat here. Fernley in second place. Hug takes it again. Fernley in second, and Dave Weir finishes 3rd. He is still on the hunt for that elusive 7th title. Marcel Hug copied and followed every move, and when the moment came to strike, Nobody, not even the great Dave Weir, could respond. Hug has taken the title as he did 2 years ago, and that is a very, very important stepping stone on the road to Rio for the man from Switzerland.
That was a fantastic race for Marcel Hug. When it came to that final sprint finish, he actually still looked like he had a lot left in him. Beautiful race for Marcel Hug. That will give him so much confidence to go into Rio and the rest of the road racing season.
In the men's race, they've gone through 10K in an incredibly quick time, 28:37, which, well, is incredible, to be honest.
It's sub 2 hour 1 pace, so they're currently on 2 hours 40-second pace, which is incredibly, incredibly fast, and you can see the damage that has done to the field, strung out way behind, but there's still, for the pace that they're running at, there's still a fairly large group.
Well, I think it's incredibly, incredibly too quick.
So very interesting in this elite women's race, because Tatiana McFadden does not have it all her own way here. Manuela Schär is on the back wheel of Tatiana McFadden. Now we find out what the Americans got when it's wheel to wheel, shoulder to shoulder. Schär is trying to come wide on the outside, the athlete from Switzerland, and she's closing. The questions are being asked, but now McFadden begins to respond. She is the world's greatest wheelchair racer, but this year they've started to make her really work for these titles. Digging in, gritting her teeth. Now she looks up and she realises the daylight is there between her and Manuela Schär. McFadden makes it 4 in a row, but that was the hardest one we've seen her win so far. And all credit to Switzerland's Manuela Schär for coming right back into that race.
McFadden's looking a little bit tired. This is her 3rd marathon this season. But, you know, she's looking in amazing position. She's got a massive schedule ahead of her in Rio. She's going to be racing every distance on the track and the relay, so she needs to be in Rio in the best shape she can be.
The group of 5 British athletes, Susan Partridge is the first one to come under pressure. Susan hasn't got the qualifying time so far. She's drifted off the back of the pack here, so there are 4 athletes here pulling away, and Susan Partridge going through a bad time.
Well, let's just pop back to the front of the men's race here, because it looks like things might be just breaking up. It was a water station, and Kipchoge has just taken the chance. It's really incredible. It's fast-paced.
61 minutes at the halfway point. So that's world record pace for the marathon. Now, if the second half has been like it is in other events, the second half they come back quicker, but I can't believe they're going to do that today.
Now, here we have the 3 together. It's between these 3, and let's just to remind you that 2:31 the qualifying time. Sonia Samuels in the yellow, Ali Dixon on the far side, both have the qualifying time. If they finish in the top 2 here, they get guaranteed selection. Charlotte Purdue does not have that qualifying time. This is their first ever marathon, and they've slipped outside of that qualification time, which is going to be obviously an issue for her. She's running very well, but at the moment, that 2:31 there, you can see in the caption, this is a pace which is a little outside that. Callum Hawkins judging this well, and I think Callum's the one that we all thought would be the man today. Johnny Hay went off hard. Twelder is still ahead of Callum Hawkins, but of course Callum has the qualifying time. If he finishes in the top 2 British athletes, he guarantees selection for Rio. He looks strong. He looks as though he's judged this well up to this point. We've watched this pace take its toll on some big names, and Kenenisa Bekele's gone, but so has Wilson Kipsang. He's just dropped off this little group. Well, drama in the men's race, but at the front of the women's race. A few minutes ago, this happened. Water stations, Paula always talks about them. Get yourself set up, find where you want to go, and look at that. Sumgong, look at that watch, takes down the pre-race favourite, Katani. Merger also going down. Sumgong's banged her head there, and they were going along so easily, so serenely, and for these 3, these things happen, of course, but usually it's to do with cutting across each other. It looked like Sumgong was looking at her watch and was looking for a line into the water station. She grabbed a drink. She's responded better than the other 2, and actually she's got herself back onto the group. So Tufa, Kiplagat, Dibaba, Kiplagat, look at her looking around. saying, where's Keitany? Well, Keitany is now about 50 metres behind this group there. And Sumgong's done brilliantly to get back.
She has done really well, considering how hard she obviously hit her head as well when she went down. And you don't want to see anybody ever fall in a race, but she took down 2 other runners there. And I think for Mary Keitany now, her race might be pretty much over.
Well, we'll keep track of what's going on there. These two locked together. Kipchoge and Biwott, the winner of the New York Marathon in November, the winner of London here last year. Kipchoge has only ever been beaten in a marathon once. That was in Berlin when Kipsang broke the world record, which subsequently was broken by Kimetto. Those two nowhere to be seen here today. The pace has dropped, but it's still pretty quick. 4:44 through the 19th mile. Well, it really is turning out to be a great day at the London Marathon. All sorts happening in all sections of the races. And look at this in the women's elite right at the front. Sumgong, despite falling, despite banging her head rather heavily on the road, she's got up, got to the front, and is now forcing the pace along the embankment. So it's down to 3 women here. So much going on. And we want to try and follow the British race as well. Callum Hawkins now has moved into the top British spot, moving ahead of Tuwelde. We said he'd started very, very quickly. Callum Hawkins judging his effort really well. So the 23-year-old looking strong, looking good. It's down to 2 in the men and it's down to 2 in the women.
Those damages starting to show now, and 2 for there, a little bit of daylight opening up, and she's responding to try and close that gap to Sumgong, because she knows that if she allows Sumgong to get a big enough gap as they come into the last 1,200 metres or so, that she won't be able to close it.
Well, it's been a dramatic day already in the 2016 version of the London Marathon, and we've already seen a world record, a world best for 30k, 1 hour 27:13, which is 7 seconds inside the old world record. The sun shining now on Jemima Sumgong. No Mary Keitany, she fell with Sumgong. No Florence Kiplagat. It was all left to Sumgong from the Nandi Hills in Kenya. Worked so hard, tripped up, banged her head really heavily on the ground, got up, caught the leaders, went to the front, forged her way on, went to the lead, and now running for victory. Big crowds in the home straight cheering Jemima Sumgong of Kenya, who wins the 2016 London Marathon. Just inside 2 hours and 23, last year's winner comes across the line in 2nd place. A great defence for her. And then it looks as though Florence Kiplagat is in 3rd spot. But what a great, brave story for Jemima Sumgong. 23-year-old Callum Hawkins, heading towards first British man home, but also perhaps a personal best. He's running quick, and also to guarantee his spot in the Rio team.
He's the 4th fastest Scottish marathon runner ever, after Alistair Hutton, who won this race, Fraser Clyne, and the great Jim Alder. And Jim will be watching this one, and he'll be cheering on Callum Hawkins, a young Scotsman running with aggression in a marathon. That's great to see.
And look at this now. The first 2 British athletes who will cross the line here today will guarantee their selection for Rio. What a dream come true that will be for Ali Dixon. 37 years of age, her last chance perhaps to go to an Olympic Games, and she's cemented that decision here with her performance. It's been hard, it's been tough, and I think there's a smile there. Yes, well done, Ali. Great performance from her, great performance from Sonia behind her as well, and the 2 of them being cheered home by this big crowd. You're off to Rio, Ali, and you're off to Rio, Sonia. Congratulations. A hard day, and it's the longest trial anyone ever has to run, but they've done it. Kipchoge has kicked away from Biwott, has pushed on, despite this fast pace, despite the record in sight. He, of course, is using his very, very good marathon tactical brain here to think, I'm not leaving this. Biwott is a good athlete, but he's spent. And a great run, a debutante, Charlotte Purdue, the 3rd British athlete. Well, that's an interesting one, because technically, that's obviously a debutante. That's a pretty good first race over the marathon distance for Charlotte Purdue. And that will be an interesting one for the selectors. A young talent, perhaps a future at the event. Will they take her? Look how good he looks. Look how serene he is. Look how strong he is and look how quick he is. Eliud Kipchoge, the winner here in London last year, a world champion on the track when he was just 18 years of age. And here in 2016, he is heading for one of the fastest marathons of all time. He's just missed the world record, but for Eliud Kipchoge, just outside 2 hours and 3, one of the greatest races in history. Eliud Kipchoge wins the London Marathon. He cannot believe it. He's just less than 10 seconds off the world record. I'm not sure that he realized it. Look at the look on his face. He's shaking his head. Goodness me, that was a chance. But Eliud Kipchoge has just become the second fastest of all time. And look at Biwott. He is still coming in tired, but look at the time. Biwott runs a personal best in second place, under 2 hours 4, joining that elite club. What a race in 2016. London Marathon has done it again. And look at this. What a return to form for Kenenisa Bekele.
A smile comes across Kenenisa's face. It was too quick in the early stages, especially on the way back from such a lot of trouble and injury. But Kenenisa Bekele crosses the line, 2 hours, 6 minutes and 38 seconds. A very respectable time for the marathon, but to do it off as little training as he's done it just shows you how great he is.
Well, here he comes. I remember watching Callum as a youngster running cross-country races up in Scotland, and it's great to see someone come to such prominence. He's off to Rio, he's off to the Olympic Games, a big personal best, and he's the best British athlete in the London Marathon in 2016. 2 hours 10:55. Congratulations to Callum Hawkins. Tuwelde in the blue, and now has he guaranteed himself a spot? Well, he has, because you only have to finish in the top 2. He's tired, he went off hard, and he's hung on, and Tuwelde now will be heading to Rio, and he's finished just ahead of Derek Hawkins. Derek has run a brilliant race and just hasn't timed it right, but he's going to be inside the qualifying mark. So the question is, will the British selectors look upon this performance from the older Hawkins brother and say, yep, that was good enough. Well done to him. A minute inside the qualifying mark, and we could have two brothers going to the Olympic Games in the marathon. Official result of the men's wheelchair, Marcel Hug winning in 1 hour 35:24. Too much in the end for Kurt Fernley and David Weir, who could only manage third in his quest, of course, to head off to Rio and the Olympics, but he knows what he's got to beat.
I always want to do well here, you know, Olympic year as well, but it would be nice to win, obviously. But yeah, it gives me a marker on what I need to do now for the next couple of months for Rio.
In the women's wheelchair race, sadly, Shelley Woods had to retire. As expected, Tatiana McFadden won only by 1 second, though, from Manuela Shah, and Toshida was third.
It was quite an exhausting race. You know, I just really tried to play my strength and take the turns as best as possible and just really have enough energy towards the end. You know, Manuela is so strong. She's a really great competitor, a strong competitor, and you know, I'm really looking forward to the Olympic Games this year. I know it's going to be tough. I have a lot more training to do and more focus, definitely.
A wonderful performance from Eliud Kipchoge, defending his title, but almost breaking the world record. 2 hours, 3 minutes and 5 seconds, a new course record. Stanley Biwott also inside 2 hours and 4 minutes. Great return to form for Kenenisa Bekele in third. But in 8th place, Callum Hawkins was the first of the British athletes running a new personal best. That cemented his place in the team for Rio, and he will be joined definitely by Tsegay Tuwelde. Great performance from him. And Derek Hawkins, who was the next best, was inside the qualifying time and could yet be selected.
The crowd actually is what pushes me. This is a wonderful crowd in London.
It is.
Imagine. So it's what pushes me. In fact, in every kilometer, except when in the tunnel, where you cannot find some crowd, but all over when you find a crowd whereby they cheer you, you keep on moving.
There you are, crossing the line, top Brit on the plane to Rio.
Yeah. I was feeling brilliant at halfway, so I put in quite a big effort in that halfway, but the last couple of miles, especially coming up the finish, I was really hurting and just trying to hold on.
There was a surprise winner in the women's race, Jemima Sumgong of Kenya, winning in 2 hours 22 and 58 seconds despite falling. She got up and won ahead of last year's winner Tufa, and Florence Kiplagat of Kenya took third place. In the quest to get on the plane for Rio, as expected, Ali Dixon and Sonia Samuels cemented their place, finishing 13th and 14th place. But there was a great debut from Charlotte Purdue, just about a minute behind those two, and she could be picked by the selectors.
The plaster on your head tells us that was a nasty fall.
I feel great. I feel good, though I have some bruises in my body. Those are challenges.
Alison, you look very strong in that last kilometre or so. When you both knew that you'd broken away and that you kind of had it in the bag, did it suddenly feel a lot easier?
In a way it did, but, you know, my legs were absolutely killing in those last 2 miles. But the quads had just totally cramped up. But, you know, nobody ever said that was going to be easy. But, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
A whole series of great races out on this iconic course. Raymond Martin won the T51-52 World Cup race. Wheelchair athlete with less upper body mobility and flexibility than the Dave Weirs and Marcel Hoogs. Hence, he won a separate race. Great athlete from the United States. We had a whole host of world-class visually impaired athletes. T11, T12. Yin Zheng took the title on her debut. Great run, 3:13, an unofficial world record. Then Ancheto dos Santos defended his title in the T13 visually impaired category. Imagine the cheers he'll get if he does the same in Rio in September. And then we had the arm amputee race as well. Li Xiaoyan, who came 5th in the World Championship last year over 1,500 metres, stepping up to the marathon in fine style. 2:27.07, just 8 seconds outside the world record. Full list of the IPC Marathon World Cup winners: Raymond Martin, Kumaji, Zheng, Dos Santos and Xiaoyan. Watch out for them in the Rio Paralympics later on this year in September. A wonderful day of races and a great opportunity for all these Paralympians to compete on the packed streets of London on the world's premier marathon.
A special part of London Marathon is the mini marathon, which sees over 1,500 young athletes competing over the last 3 miles of the marathon course, representing the 11 regions of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. There are record levels of wheelchair entries this year, as well as for the very first time a mini ambulant race.
Jack Agnew came all the way from Northern Ireland to win the boys' wheelchair race. Tom Mortimer won the Battle of the Sprint finishers for the under-17 boys, whilst the prizes for the best celebrations went to Sabrina Sina for the under-17 girls and Faye Ireland for the under-15 girls.
Means everything, you know. I've been training really hard for this competition, and just knowing that the hard work's been paid off, it's pretty good.
Well, this is my hometown, so it just makes it more special, and especially the crowds are amazing. They're really supporting us, like not being the real marathon, and it's really inspiring to kind of get that atmosphere that even if we're the mini marathon, that people still support us.
Okay, time now to focus on the masses, who every year raise millions of pounds for charity, and hopefully you all spot someone you know amongst this 35,000 strong crowd. Maybe that was your mum, or maybe that's your dad, or maybe that's the guy that you see at the water cooler at work every day. I think you get the idea. Keep an eye out.
36,000 and more setting off on their great journey. And this year will be the year that the 1 millionth finisher will cross the finish line in the London Marathon. The blue start and the green start will come together after around a mile or so. The red start in Greenwich Park, there they are on the right of the picture. Then they will head on their path towards a meeting point at 3 miles when all of the 3 starts come together. There they are in Greenwich Park. It will take a good few minutes for most of them to eventually cross the line, but it all happens incredibly smoothly. The organisation as ever, all of the planning ensuring that everybody will get their turn. Well, Brendan, it's a sight that never fails to inspire all around the world. It's a very special year for a very special event.
It certainly is, Steve, and I've sat here 36 years in a row, and what a week it's been so far in London. We've had the Queen's 90th birthday celebrations. We're having the Shakespeare 400th anniversary celebrations, and today, the biggest mass participation marathon in the world will celebrate its millionth finisher. What a day, what an occasion, and who would have thought all those years ago when 6,000 runners lined up here at Greenwich Park that we would be looking at an event where 1 million people have taken part. And if you think back, when they were watching the first marathon in 1981, only a few hundred people in Great Britain had actually ever had any experience of running a marathon. Nowadays, people watching today will see that colourful sight, and over 1 million of those people will have actually experienced the modern phenomenon, which is the marathon. The crowd's excited at the start, the runners hopefully not too excited at the start. They've got to gauge it, they've got to take it carefully, they've got to start slow, and some of them slow down from there. But I must say, these are great conditions for distance running, Paula.
They are very, very good conditions for distance running, a great course and a great place to do it, and so much buzz. They're out there at the start, but the whole way along the route and around here at the mile, waiting for these runners to finish their journey today, to arrive at the finish line that little bit stronger.
Can I ask you the question? Where would you rather be now?
In the fitness that I'm in right now, I would probably be rather sitting here, but I always want to be out there running.
In 36 years, this has become a real British institution. It almost heralds springtime in Britain, the London Marathon. And this is what 40,000 people look like. 40,000 people with the same intention, with the same idea, and that's to get to the finish line. And if you think about the hours of training that have been undergone to get here, that's millions of miles, millions of hours, thousands and thousands of people doing it. And if you're not inspired by this, then what would inspire you?
Well, I'm just wondering how Tim's getting on. Tim Peake. Well, you talk about the loneliness of the long distance runner. Nobody could be more lonely, but we're with him and he's watching pictures and he seems to be going pretty well. At about 70% body weight, that harness just holding him down onto the treadmill. And Paula thinks this is cheating at altitude training here.
No, running at 70% body weight, it's easy.
You tell him, I'm not. You tell him, I'm not telling him.
And he doesn't need to worry about missing his drinks.
Well, your messages scrolling through. Big crowds now. It's not a bad day for spectating if you're well wrapped up. A perfect day for running a marathon. Temperature spot on. It's going to get up to about 10, 11 degrees. A little bit of a breeze just starting to pick up here at the mile, and we're expecting that to be in their faces a little bit along the embankment, but not too much, to be fair. Might cool one or two people down. They've all trained hard for it. Well, maybe not all of them. Most of them have trained hard for this. Some smiles, and at this point, they've still got a long way to go, but one or two pained expressions as well. And you just got to knuckle down and enjoy the crowds.
Dave, easily the best costume I've seen all day.
Thank you.
Who are you going to call? It's got to be Dave.
It's got to be Dave, yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. Running for Macmillans. My brother-in-law's got cancer at the moment, and however hard this is for me, I can take this pack off in a couple of hours' time or so, and he can't do it with us, so this one's for you, Graham.
Fancy dress, all of the charities, and the, I guess, new fads, not that new, but people now knowing to wear their name in large letters, writ large across their chest, so they get a cheer from those on the, well, here at the bridge, standing on the pavements. The rest, they're overhead, they're finding all sorts of vantage points.
And if you hear a lot of music as you're coming over the bridge and you watch out on one corner, you might see Kenyan Corner. And that is a bunch of guys out there cheering for Ken Yan. So Ken, Mrs. Yan, and I think it was Max Yan. I hope you're having a good run out there.
So it's not a Kenyan Corner, it's Ken Yan. Brilliant. Love it. Well, Tower Bridge, a very iconic viewpoint in terms of this race and in London generally, but it's also a favourite place to spectate, and people find their place here very early on. Look at all the flags, all the charity flags. And again, a little shout out to a bunch who are running for Hospice UK: Daniel, Robbie, David, Phil, Chris, Andrew, Jonathan, Paul, Stuart, Paul. They've raised, they're all from Clydesdale and Yorkshire Bank, have raised over £5 million for hospice care over the last 8 years. Well done to them out there. So many great causes.
Woo! This is my 130th marathon
Yes, 130.
How's it feeling?
Brilliant. And then I finish. I raised 15,000 for charity. 10 in 10 days.
Oh my goodness,
all
that's
for vulnerable children.
Yes.
And today is my last one. I retire.
Oh my.
130.
So this is a victory lap.
Yeah, one lap of honour. Yeah.
Keep it going.
I'm gonna get my friend.
Keep it going.
You've got a great reception so far. What's it been like? Oh, it's been amazing. It really has. I think that I'm trying to keep really calm. So when I've got a slow song, that reminds me to breathe. Well, you're running for a good pace. Best of luck, Cal. No, you're on your own.
Don't forget, this year the 1 millionth finisher will cross the line, probably towards the back end of the field, and that's why we'll be finding out in a couple of weeks' time when the organisers announce exactly who that will be. With us here in the Mall, it's just starting to get busy in the Mall, as you can see there, about a mile from the finish at Big Ben. The road's starting to fill. So many people out watching this year as well. The weather's been kind to the runners. Bit of a breeze down on the embankment, but keeping them cool in these latter stages. Lots of people, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands out there cheering them on right throughout the route, but particularly in these last few miles. And do not underestimate how much that helps.
Well, if you're watching these images and you feel inspired, but you're a little bit intimidated by 26.2 miles, well, don't be, because as you can see, it really is a case of all shapes and sizes, all ages, all abilities. Every 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step. There are so many guides online. If you can't even run for your bus, doesn't matter. Walk 5 minutes, jog 5 minutes, repeat, repeat, and little bit by little bit, you can start jogging. You do a 5K, you do a 10K. Even if you're sitting at home and you say, I could never do that, you're not right. Please go online, have a look at some guides. Anybody, and I do mean this, anybody can run a marathon if they really, really want to, with enough training and enough belief. And these people are the clear evidence of that statement. Please come and join. This is a brilliant, brilliant event. Come and be part of it, even if it's going to take you 7 hours next year. Come and join London's #1 party every year.
That is a great outfit today. Tell me, you've got to be doing this for a good cause.
I did it for Cancer Research UK.
Excellent stuff. And how's it been? Great support along the course?
Oh man, it's so hot in here I can't even see or breathe. So I'll be happy when I see Buckingham Palace.
And where are you from?
I'm originally from Australia.
Brilliant stuff. Is it not your first London Marathon?
No, this is my 5th one, but you know, I think next year I'll do without the costume.
Well done. Continue. You're not far from home.
The atmosphere is amazing, the support's wonderful, and it's just, it's mind-blowing. And tell us who you're running for. I'm running for FEED to support eating disorders and raise awareness for that. And I'm running primary school as well, because I'm the co-head teacher there. Fantastic. No, keep it going. Thank you so much.
So Kelly Holmes then approaching the finish line in a very quick time indeed, 3 hours and 11 minutes. Who could be surprised that she looks so good, the double Olympic champion?
Christian, I can see that you got yourselves a wonderful contraption here.
Yeah.
Just tell us what it's been like for 13 miles carrying it.
It's been heavy, and it's over pushing and pulling. So you do the running, you all run at different speeds, so it's tough.
We all know how Cool Runnings works, but you've got to be really in sync, haven't you?
Oh yeah, completely, yeah. And we do struggle with that sometimes, but it's all about charity.
No, they're not listening, so tell us who the dead weight is.
Well, that'll be them for it, the back, won't it? Just don't tell no one.
We won't. You're doing a great job, guys. Keep it up.
Cheers, buddy.
Dame Kelly Holmes coming. How did it feel?
It was amazing. I was literally in a daze the whole way round. I think I zoned out. It was so weird, you know, it's like so much music and everything. And actually, at 9 miles, I had Prince, Purple Rain, going on there, and then I was like going through, and I could hear all the crowd, but almost I was like switching off. And then about 19, my legs were thinking, this is it. My feet are burning, I daren't take my shoes off. And my hips are just thinking,
just run. You know? Well, you came down the mile there and you looked like you'd almost done the whole thing on your toes. You were absolutely bouncing. Your legs were bouncing. The face is showing a little bit of strain.
Ooh, it was hard. Yeah, I mean, I wish he was here. This guy called Ben, like, helped me literally the whole way, because at the beginning, I said, I've got to go slow, and he was saying, slow down, slow down. And without that, I'd none have done it. Look, I actually got a medal. London Marathon. Amazing.
Well, it's been a lonely run for Tim Peake, but he has got a world record, the fastest marathon in orbit, 3 hours, 35 minutes and 21 seconds. Well done, Tim.
Here we are today, 37,000 people plus will finish, making up that wonderful 1 in a million. And you think about it, there are people out there watching this marathon, which in 3 hours 40 time they're finishing. This is very, very good marathon running, and around the country there'll be people watching this who'll be part of that 1 in a million group. And when you think about the first ever marathon, there were only a couple of hundred people watching television that day when we had recorded highlights on the BBC. Only a couple of hundred people had actually experienced running a marathon. Now there are people out there, as these pictures go around the world to 100 countries, more than 1 million people will be watching saying, I've done that before. Well, do that again.
Can swing. Though nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever. Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
Tell us why it's so important you're running today.
Because a colleague at work, Debbie Dubois, sadly lost her son Harry to an undiagnosed heart condition. So we're raising money for as many people as you can, youngsters, to get screened, so that hopefully this doesn't happen again. Massive love to Debbie and all of her family.
Yeah. You've still got a smile on your face, mate.
Mate, I'm hurting a bit. My ankle's not in too good shape, but we're keeping going.
13 miles.
Take care, all right.
You do it. Come on, pal. Oh, I missed the hand. Dave, your partner in crime, Mr. Jonathan Pearce, not with you today, but you are still flying the flag.
Yeah, still flying the flag for Lily Foundation. It's been 9 years since we lost our daughter Lily to mitochondrial disease. In that 9 years, it's been incredible. We've now raised 1.6 million. We're helping a lot of families out there. Families are getting genetic answers for their condition, and it's just been incredible. But unfortunately, Jonathan's not here. Last year I ran with Ewan Thomas, so I'm on my own this year, but it's going well.
Approaching not far away from the 4-hour mark, and those who are coming into the mile now, we're starting to see a few people struggling over the last mile, the last half a mile. It's amazing though how they're getting helped, and other runners giving up the times that they're chasing to help those who are struggling to get across the line.
Well, look at it. well on the way to a record number of finishers in this, the 36th running of the London Marathon. Fantastic crowds en route, fantastic atmosphere everywhere. It heralds springtime in this country. The sun shone, even though the weather forecasters told us there was going to snow today. Well, not much sign of the snow, but sign of a wonderful atmosphere in London. This is the best marathon in the world. This is the finest organisation in the world, and too. Nick Patel and his team, Hugh Brasher, the race director, Dave Bedford, the international race coordinator, must be very, very happy indeed with this. Emma Thompson, who looks after the course, a fantastic effort they make, and there it is in all its glory, running along towards the embankment, the Tower of London in the background. And I think we've seen the finest marathon performance in history. You know, Eliud Kipchoge in a race, a little bit too quick in the early stages, and these people, some of them have done the same, some of them have gone too quick in the early stages, but I think we've seen the finest organisation and the finest marathon in history in every sense. A record number of runners.
It's amazing how long that last few miles can feel if the wheels have started to come off. Probably 3/4 of the people running have got their names on their t-shirts and their vests, and although it might not sound as though you take much motivation from hearing your name from a stranger, it really does help, especially if you're struggling. You can see there so many people have names and nicknames, and it also gives the crowd something to cheer for as well, because when you get a smile back from a runner, if you're there as a spectator, it makes you feel as though you have really helped in a difficult moment.
Postman Mike, I know you've got a special delivery for me.
I'm not sure what to say now, other than I'm so glad I kept this clean and dry for you. Denise Lewis at the 18-mile point, and thank you so much for brilliant coverage. I'm running for the Haven again. They do fantastic work. That's their logo. If anybody wants to get them online, theherefordhaven.org.uk. A huge thank you, my postman colleagues in Hereford, everybody in Herefordshire, the Hereford Haven. Between us, we've raised over £18,000 this year, which is helping women with breast cancer, and I just feel so honoured, pretty humble. But of course, the highlight is coming here to meet you.
It's been great to see you. Keep running.
Well, I actually got cramp about half a mile back, so I think it's more hobbling, but thank you. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike.
Rupert, a lot of people think of Bagpuss as one of their favourite characters. Are you starting to hate him?
I've got one or two issues, yes. He's really heavy, really hot, and he's banging on my hips. I've got a hole in my hips.
Tell us why it was that you chose to carry him.
I didn't choose. I got asked to do it, and I can't say no. I run a lot of marathons. I've got to give something back.
Well, for most people, one marathon would be enough, but for Ben Smith, This is just one of his 401. He won't finish until next October. He ran one yesterday, he'll run one tomorrow, but this a really special day for Ben Smith. Congratulations, and goodness me, he doesn't even run slow, does he? 4 hours and 29 minutes, 46 seconds his time today. Ben Smith, you are a hero.
It's incredible. The atmosphere is amazing, but the cramp is just, it's there all the time. So I'm just making sure that I get through and crawl across the finish line.
Well, you know it's not very far to go now.
I know, mate. No, I'm so grateful you stopped me now. I can have a quick break.
It's a quick break, but we keep moving, which is the most important thing.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. But honestly, the support has just been incredible, and the atmosphere is just amazing. So many good charities out there, and you see the back of their T-shirts, and what they're doing it for is so inspiring. So I'm determined to finish it, definitely.
You will do. I'll leave you to it. All the best. Well done.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
The legendary Ken.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done every one, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one.
My goodness me, you
Yeah.
are an inspiration to so many people.
Yeah.
Just tell us, over the last 36 years,
Yeah.
what has been the biggest change?
The biggest change is so much more better organised. At first, we had buses to put our stuff in. Now it's all beautifully done. The whole race is magnificent.
Wow. Well, you're already talking about 2017. Let's just concentrate on the next 13 miles, shall we?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to do it.
Well, still they come in their thousands. Latest world record was the fastest marathon dressed as a tap. That was Ian Rule. I don't think they've turned him off. He's still running.
But we've actually watching now ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and that will always be the highlight for me of the London Marathon.
I think for me, it's to be proud to be British and proud to be a part of the London Marathon and all of its great history, and shown off today in its very best light.
It is without doubt the greatest day in London every year. Such a sense of warmth and such a great place to come and run 26.2 miles for the first time, for the 10th time, however fast, however slowly. A brilliant day.
Well, that is us nearly out of time, but if you have been motivated to get active, you can go and visit the Get Inspired page on the BBC Sport website and see how you can get involved in running in your local area. And there is plenty more athletics coming up soon, right here on the BBC. Our Diamond League coverage starts with highlights of the opening meeting in Doha on Saturday the 7th of May at 1 p.m. on BBC One. There's the Great Manchester Games on Friday the 20th of May, live at 6 p.m. on BBC Two. And then on Sunday, it's the Great Manchester Run at 11 a.m., also on BBC Two. And away from athletics, following us today is continuing coverage of the Snooker World Championships from Sheffield. But that is it for the 2016 London Marathon. We have had some incredibly exciting races, including a near miss of the world record for Eliud Kipchoge in the men's race, British athletes claiming spots for Rio, and thousands of incredibly inspiring athletes raising millions of pounds for charity as well. From all of us for this year, it's goodbye.